What's been the most surprising benefit of cold plunging for women in midlife who are going through menopause?
They've shown over getting into cold water, it activates that brown fat within our body, which in turn has a downstream impact of increasing metabolism. It's just an energy expenditure on the body. If this was a pill, it would be one of the holy grails into the sense of mental health.
That dopamine hit that is a response from that like shock to the system. I mean, it is incredible. What are just some of the mistakes that people make when they plunge that they're not getting the benefits? Hey, Ryan, thanks for being here with me today.
Excited to join in this upcoming conversation.
Oh my God. Well, listen, for my own selfish reasons, like some of these questions are going to be like asking for a friend, but they're really just like things I want to know because I have one of your plunges and I'm absolutely obsessed with it. It is 100% my part of my daily routine. I look forward to it. I mean, I feel so effing amazing. People just don't, I think, until you really like just drink the Kool-Aid and get in on the I mean, the plunge culture, like you just don't know what you're missing. And so I really want this to be just a really highly educational, episode for those, who are maybe have heard about plunge. I think everybody pretty much in the wellness space has heard about plunging now. But I want to just maybe ask some of these kind of more specific questions just to educate people and get people to drink the Kool-Aid because they need it.
Let's dive in. First, I want to ask though, what is your time of day? Are you first thing in the morning, midday? Like when do you get in?
Nope. I love to do it after a workout. So I will go and I'll go do, whatever I'm doing for the workout that day, whether it's yoga or solid core, if I'm going to strength train, whatever it is. And then I come back. It's like a whole ritual for me, which is, I think why I love it too, is I have a playlist on, I put it on, I get in, and then it just really kind of like bookends my like workout, for the day. So yeah, usually for me, it's like after I get the kids on the bus, it's usually like mid-morning, like 10:30-ish for me. And then I'm like ready to go into my day.
I love it. Yep. It's like rocket fuel.
I mean, I had Michael Chur. I don't know if you, Michael Cherno, if you
Yeah.
know. Yeah. So I had him on the show and he was talking about, he does it like, yeah, he does it first thing in the morning, like right, pretty much like does a couple yoga stretches and then goes right into it. And I'm like, man, I'm not there yet. Like that, that's a little hardcore. I need some coffee first. Like, although you might not need coffee if you just go right for the plunge.
Yeah. Or you get both and it's just even better.
Yeah,
For me,
yeah. When do you do it?
I'm first thing.
First
Yeah.
thing. Okay.
First
You
thing.
just,
First thing in the morning, it's kind of I wake up a little sluggish, pretty like that's kind of my normal state. And I go there, like Michael was saying, I get a few breaths in, I hop in and I feel like I just gain an hour in my morning where I would have kind of moved
yes.
slowly. I'm just like alert, focused into what I want to go into. I will go get my cup of coffee after that. And then I'll throw in when I do like sauna sessions, which is a few times a week. That's when I'll plunge for shorter windows in the afternoon with sauna.
I freaking love it. Well, I just want to dive right in. Somebody who is new to cold exposure therapy, like what are the most important things that they need to know to kind of get them up to speed on what this is all about?
I think a number of things. There is like metabolic improvements that are happening, lowers inflammation, metabolism, blood pressure. Like that's all there, and that's just going to happen for every single person. But I think on the highest level, what we see is people come in interested in that, like, hey, lower my inflammation, workout recovery. That's kind of the Trojan horse. But then really, where the rubber meets the road with every single person, it's a mental health tool. Like
Mhm.
there are very few things, no matter if it's a pill to a workout to some action, that you can feel this different within 2 minutes of time. And that is what we see every single person. They get it for one thing, and everyone consistently comes back and says, I have more energy, my mood is elevated, and I'm just overall a happier person. So I think that's like the core of what cold plunging is all about.
I mean, 1,000%. I was actually just watching a video that you guys have pinned to your social media page, and it was just talking about really the improvements of what it does to you mentally and to the brain, and really due to a lot of that is physiological due to the stress response and all of that. But really, I mean, what you're talking about, like that dopamine hit that is a response from that like shock to the system. I mean, I mean, it is incredible. And it's not just like you feel it when you're in it. I mean, like, I know for me, it is like, I notice a massive difference in my energy throughout the day. Like last night's a perfect example. I literally got about 5 hours sleep last night, 4 hours sleep, which I normally get nine. I mean, this was not a good night at all. And normally I would be dead. Like literally, I would seriously, it would be so hard for me. And I'm going to be super tired later, but I can tell you just even in the short term, I went for a nice walk. I did my plunge and I feel so much more energy. I shouldn't have this much energy for not sleeping last night. I'm not saying that that's a good thing to use this as a reason to like not sleep. That's not what I mean, but I'm just saying it's a noticeable difference.
100%. I mean, I think, like you said, it's a tool in different formats. Like you didn't get great sleep, you still have to wake up, do your life. It's a great tool in that capacity. I look at this thing like if this was a pill, this is $1 trillion industry that it would be the one of the holy grails into the sense of mental health. It's just the fact that you have to do something hard for 2 to 3 minutes that none of us, every single day. That doesn't change. Like for everyone listening, if you haven't done it, I still get up every single morning like I don't want to get into this thing, and I
Yeah.
go through the process with myself. The voice in my head gets a little quieter over time
Yeah.
because I know, like, okay, I know you're just some chatter that ultimately I know what I'm going to feel in 2 to 3 minutes and the benefit I'm going to get. But to me, that's the magic of it. It's a you get this. This isn't a 45-minute workout. This isn't a 30 day program you need to go on. This is just a consistent. You do this more or less every single day, 2 to 3 minutes, and you're gonna
Hmm.
get this momentum in your life.
Well, let's talk about the timing on this because that was a question that I had. There's so many. You have like the what is it, Wim Hofs of the world or whatever that are like they're doing plunges for like 30 minutes or like beyond. I don't even know. Like I'm like, is that even like healthy? Like what's going on here? And then you hear like, oh, you should stay in it for 5 minutes, but you say 2, 3 minutes. Okay, so like, what's the science here? What do people really need to know about how long they should be submerged in it?
My thing is always simplicity. So there's, like you said, there are a number of ways to go about it. I don't think there's much literature showing anything over 5 minutes as like a true um, physical benefit. I think there is absolutely something there from a mental resiliency and
Hmm.
doing something hard. I mean, running a marathon, is that good for your body? Probably not. But there is something about going through that process, which,
Mm.
from a longer cold plunge, it's probably there. From a universal, my big recommendation is 2 minutes to start, 55 to 60 degrees, and just start there. And I always take it to at the end of the day, the cold plunge is really a system, a workout for your nervous system.
Hmm.
And I relay it to the gym of your muscular system or your metabolic system in the sense, or your cardiovascular. Like if you haven't been working that out, you would not go do a CrossFit workout your first day back. Like that's a net
Right.
negative. That's going to hurt you.
Yeah.
And any trainer would not put someone through that. The first day is like, hey, let's just get off the couch. Let's get some sweat going. Let's get moving, and let's get it to a place that you can show back up tomorrow. And so I think one of the things we see a lot of is my something I always say is like I always know someone's a new to cold plunging when they tell me how long and how cold they went. Um, because
Right. It's
do it,
their badge of honor.
yeah, it's I get first time I went 10 minutes and I did 42 degrees. Cool, totally get it. But when you actually start to do the process, that's not it's just like you find your temp and temperature,
Yeah.
build your process with. And um, so again, everyone, when people are starting out, our recommendation, more or less 2 minutes and 55 to 60 degrees. And if we want to go a little deeper into that, there are cues you want to be listening to in your body. So first is you want a temperature that does take your breath away. That is an
Mm.
important cue. That is giving you that cold shock response. That's sending a signal to your body where it's going to start doing. You watch that video of what's going on with the brain, what's going on with the body. That sends a signal to the body. Things start happening.
Mhm.
That's a deeper dive to go into. But you get that. Kind of lose your breath.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
there's it can be panic, but it's just more of a heightened heart rate. You want that. Great. Then there's a time that you will feel a down regulated system where you kind of like, okay, I'm not like comfortable, but I feel more calm than when I entered. And to me, when you're starting out, you want to find that point in time, and that is a good window to get out. Don't get out if the body and your mind is forcing you out, because we're adapting to a stress response here, and you want to be override the stress response. That's
Mm,
action that's taking place. So when you get in, that could be 30 breaths for you. Just,
mm.
hey, can you elongate your breath? Can you feel your heart rate coming down a little? Cool. That you've gotten to a good spot, and you're starting to step into a um the stress response. You are overriding it. So I think that's a good signal for people to look into.
No, I think that that's awesome. And actually, I mean, you're still like kind of the process. And I know for me is like I'll get in and like initially like takes my breath away. So my breathing's a lot faster. And then I know I'm in the sweet spot when my breath really slows down. And then I know I've stayed just a little too long when my body starts shaking. Like I'm literally like getting really cold, like, almost like, I
Yep.
don't know if it's
Yep.
hypothermia. It's not, but yeah, when my body starts really shaking and almost like kind of going, yeah, reacting to even more of the stress, then I know it's like, okay, you probably went until you got to get out. And usually for me, it is between 4.5, 5 minutes. And that's usually when I know like that's good. I'm good. Usually about 4.5 minutes and I'm good. So I think that that's really important. I love this. Like it doesn't have to be about, this like, yes, it can create mental toughness and that's kind of a different thing. But if you're trying to like just really get the physical benefits and even the mental benefits, it's yeah, like listen to your body, like allow your body to kind of go through that process and honor it. And you'll feel amazing. So yeah, I love all of that.
I think one thing to call out there, it's like the concept, and we actually see my observation is women can adapt a little bit better to this. Men, people treat it as a suffering exercise.
Mm,
Like I'm going to
mm,
get in and I'm going to grit through this.
mm.
That's actually the totally wrong signal we want to be sending to ourselves. We want to be relaxing and almost surrendering into the experience. And I see it between the sexes there that sometimes, men are fighting it through like, I am just going to tough this out. Look, in the long run, this will beat you if you are just tough. Like, you're end up gonna send a signal to your body like, I don't want to do this anymore. And like you said, it's become a ritual for you. You get to this spot where you get in. Yes, it takes your breath away. It kind of gives you that, shock response, but then you calm into it. It's a relaxing exercise, and you come out and you're probably refreshed, revitalized. Like that's the transformation that we want to be going through in this 2 to 5 minute window.
Absolutely. Well, I will tell you, I have so much masculine energy all the time that I was definitely operating more like that. Like I'm going to beat this thing. And then when I first started doing it, I was like, I'm going to make it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. You're going to do this. And then after a while, I was like, okay, this is bullshit. No, you're not. Just relax. Okay. You don't need to make, this is not, this is not a thing. Okay. So one of the things that I want to talk a little bit about, I know we were kind of chatting about this a little bit before we hit record, but you were saying that a lot of your customers that have a plunge or a lot of that you that come to you guys are women who are in midlife or in menopause. And what we were just talking, I was asking you a little bit about like maybe some of the health benefits for women in midlife who are going through menopause or maybe in perimenopause. Do you have any kind of insight on that, or what you're just seeing in the marketplace that women are reporting back to you who are in that stage of life?
Yeah, I anecdotally, we just hear like a lot of relief. I know body temperatures can rise at that time. And, I talked to my mom, my mother-in-law, they both plunge consistently. And this is something that they get a ton of relief with. I think obviously hormonally, there's a lot going on, um, that's supporting there, but it is something that we see, just hear a lot of women in that age and time period. They just like come back and they're like, this is my treat. It's my candy. Like, I just
Yes.
love it.
Yeah.
And but yeah, it is a group that we hear a lot of relief and support that it comes with it.
I love that. And really, we were talking about this before, but I mean, it makes sense to me, right? If like the whole thing, like neurologically, what it does to the body is it how it affects the nervous system and the body's stress response. Well, cortisol is obviously a big game player in the, as it affects our hormones when it comes to perimenopause and menopause. And that affects all of our hormones. And so this is why women who are in that stage of life have to be really, really mindful of like reducing a lot of their like high intensity exercise exercise, putting in more restorative like walks and yoga and things like that, because we want to really adapt to, adaptogens, all the things. So this just makes total sense that this would be a huge, huge benefit to women who have unbalanced hormones for sure.
Yeah, we see it with, it's funny because a lot of, our purchasing demos probably 65 male, 35 women, 35%. And so a lot of men get it. And especially in that age demo, and like they're the ones that come back and like, yeah, I've said we could get one. And they're the ones that are like, I love this thing.
Yes. Yeah.
And so that's been cool to see over the years.
What are you seeing in the as far as the some of the benefits of the physical health? Like we talked a little bit about boosting metabolism, maybe even how it affects weight loss. Is there any studies or anything that you're even seeing anecdotally, like how people are talking about that? I just know so many of my listeners, are women over the age of 40, and it's, our bodies are changing. It's harder and harder. And so we're always looking for the holy grail for anything that can help in this capacity. Anything around that you want to share with the listeners as far as metabolism?
Yeah. So I always preface, well, I love cold plunging. It's one of my top things. Definitely not here to sell or tell about the Holy
Sure,
Grail, one
sure.
piece of the puzzle. Uh,
Right.
and but yes, the metabolism is, there's some cool studies out there. Dr. Susanna Soyberg's like a good reference point on this. She's done some studies on this, and it's really, and this is for everyone, but it's around what we call brown fat, activating the brown fat within the body. Brown fat, white fat, two different types of fat, totally different things. White fat's more of energy storage. It's the fat we more normally talk about, the fat that shows up on the body. And then we have brown fat, but that's more energy production. And what they've shown over getting into cold water, it activates that brown fat within our body, which in turn has a downstream impact of increasing metabolism. It's just an energy expenditure on the body. So anytime you're, you know, working, it's a metabolic workout for the body. Like you said, like, do you want to get to the shiver every time? Maybe not, but some people do. But it is, your body needs to warm up. Like it actually has to go through some really, energy, like I said, energy expenditure to warm the body back up. So yes, there are benefits there from metabolism. Um, there's a number of other, uh, blood pressure is a very interesting one. The experience that's going in, you're getting, when you get into cold, all the blood's going to rush to your vital organs. That's what's happening. It's sending a signal. We're in distress. Body wants to protect the vital regions of the body. So all your blood's going to flow to these vital organs. But when you get back out, there's the expansion of the blood vessels and the blood kind of goes back to the body. So you're getting this like big pump of blood through the body. And that I didn't really recognize it till I've been doing it for a while, and different, medical professionals kind of talk to me. It's like, it's actually this workout for your blood vessels. Like you don't normally get that. And that's its own muscle within the body. So you're getting, that's a workout that you just there's not really an activity to really do that, to this level. That's going on. Inflammation markers go down.
Hmm.
And that's, due to, I think that's a number of things. You get better sleep, you get better, you know, more hormone balances that are going on. So you get these downstream impacts, and it kind of varies for people. We see a lot of different conditions, that, people have, like I said, the mental stuff every single person's going to get, and then kind of what you're entering into with your body, you can start to see the benefits from it in different ways.
Yeah. How is this different? And I'm just curious, and you may or may not know the research behind like cryotherapy, but I'm just curious, like how does like plunging, how is that different from cryotherapy?
Yeah. So, um, the water and air impact our body much differently.
Mm.
Um, so like a cryo, you might get in, it's still negative 175. Okay, that's colder than 50 degrees. Well, water, different numbers out there, but has a, what's the word? It's basically, it could be almost 25x more like impactful
Uh,
on the body than the air. So anyone that gets into 50-degree water, then getting into a cryo machine, you notice the difference. One's just different. You can get into water, you can get into cryo. They're both cold therapy. they are both sending signals to the body. The water is just probably the most impactful way to quickest way into our body to have this internal response from like the neuro cocktail that's coming on, like you said, the dopamine, the norepinephrine. It's just it's a quicker pathway.
Well, yeah, and I mean, from last time I did cryotherapy, I mean, I think don't you get in there for like 15 minutes or something? Isn't it something like I can't remember. It's definitely not as short as a few minutes, right? Isn't it like in a more extended period of time, I think?
I've always gone 2 to 3.
Oh,
I'm not
you
like
have.
very,
Okay.
yeah, I'm not too consistent. It depends on the temp that they're putting you. There's different machines. Some have your head
Okay.
out. You're wearing booties and gloves. I think it depends kind of the experience you're stepping
Okay.
into. Um, cryo's also it's also a lot more expensive. A cryo machine can cost like $100,000.
Yeah.
Uh, most people aren't going to put that in their home. So you have to go
Right.
to a facility. You're paying, you know, upwards to $75 a session. How consistent is that really for people's time and energy to get into? So what we found it like the cold becomes but also, like, when to go do the hard thing, it's like the less barriers we can put in our way
Yes.
or do it, make it so much more achievable. That's why having a cold plunge that's, all on demand cold, always clean, just ready for you, it takes out all the other hard stuff. If I had to fill up my tub every day with ice and water, it's a pretty big barrier for me to do that every single day. Um, Similar to if I had to go to a facility from a like expense standpoint, like there are enough things like how often can you actually do it?
Yeah, absolutely. We were talking about that. I mean, that was like one of the biggest reasons why I wanted the plunge at my house is because I was going to a place here in Atlanta, which we actually were just talking about. You guys just had something super exciting. I don't know if you want to share with the listeners or not. I
I
kind of
love
set you up for that. Okay, yes, but there's Sweat House is a place here in Atlanta, and they have just a great facility. Of they've got cold plunges and they've got the saunas, and so it's such a just a therapeutic experience where you go in the sauna for like 45 minutes, all the infrared saunas. It's amazing. And then you go right into the plunge. It's fantastic. And so, yeah, what's happening with you guys in Sweat House right now?
we just announced this week we're the official partnership, the exclusive cold plunge provider for Sweat House. Really I've gotten to know the group, Jamie Weeks, Mike Tan, the group behind that of their plans. Like it's a first in class experience. You've been
Yeah, it
there,
is.
obviously, the saunas, the plunges. They just really nailed that contrast experience for people. And I think what we're excited on is just this. We envision at the rate that they're growing, they're going to have a couple hundred locations here by the end of next year. We envision facilitating north of 10 million cold plunges with them over the next 3 years. And so, that's 10 million cold plunges that it's a great to buy a $5,000, cold plunge. It's a big investment for someone.
Hmm.
Um, it's a lot more manageable if this is a membership a month. I can go in and try this out. And that's what we are so excited for. Is just people lower the barrier for people to have their first cold plunge experience. Even in the urban environments, not everyone has this space for a cold plunge. So this is now what we think like truly scaling out the ability for the country to get in and have that cold experience. Um, and then eventually like just like you went through, you went to Sweat House, you had your cold plunges, you felt the transformation. It's like I'm ready to get my own plunge in my house,
Yeah.
and that's what we're super aligned with Sweat House on that. Like into like the big picture, our goal is just how do we get millions and millions of people in this country cold plunging, and it's just going to work its way out of a win-win for everyone.
I freaking love that. I mean, I just love being able to bring, some of these incredible healing modalities to the masses, make it a little bit more accessible. And then also, I definitely think what's going to come out of that is a lot of people are going to realize like, hey, how do I make this a part of my everyday, right? How can I make this my routine? So congratulations. I freaking love that for you guys. So let's talk a little bit about your plunge though, because yeah, somebody listening to this might be like, oh my God, 5K. Wow, like that's an investment. But like, yeah, so like what what prompted you to like start Plunge? Like what were you seeing in the marketplace that like needed to happen? And kind of what makes you guys a little bit different, and why it's worth the 5K. I can say all day long that, I mean, it's freaking the whole thing is worth every penny because it's incredible. And really, if you think about it too, it's like, okay, we say 5K, right? But that's like a one-time investment. And you think about how much money you freaking spend on your Starbucks every day. And if this is something you're using every day and you just do the math, I think people get short-sighted when they see big numbers like that. But anyways, so yeah. So tell us about this plunge.
So I mean, with that, we now have multiple product lines too. So we have products that are sub 3K
Okay.
that all the way up to our, I all in, which is kind of our, premium product that's up to about 8,500, 9K. So we have options between. And I think it's important that we've always wanted to get there. We came into the market with this $5,000 cold plunge 4 years ago, which didn't really exist. At the time when it's crazy how far cold plunging's come. This is right when the pandemic hit. Mike's my co-founder. We both own brick and mortar like float therapy spas. We had infrared saunas in them. So we were of the health and wellness space on the brick and mortar side. Anyways, COVID hits, our businesses get shut down. So it's this unique moment in time. Mike's like, I think there's an opportunity in cold plunging. He starts building one in his garage. He pitches me on, hey, do you want to come in and like be a co-founder with me? We At first I said no. He's the product guy. He keeps improving it. He comes back to me, hey, what if we? And I was like, cool, let's do it. So we launch, and we originally just sold to our brick and mortar businesses and our guests there, and we said, hey, this is we have this opportunity. We have these plunges, and it really just went with it was immense product market fit from day one. There wasn't really anyone that had created a plunge that was very aesthetically pleasing at the price point that we had entered into. So within our first 2 months, we were like first page ranking on the search term gold plunge on all of Google.
Hmm.
And so that fit. But our goal was always like, how do we have a product for whatever price point you're at that you can get in at, and like use case. There's different features that matter to different people. So where we're at now, we have, like I said, we have sub 3K price points, and we offer 2-year financing. So we've really tried to make it like, hey, less than $100 a month on
Yeah.
0%. Like if you want to do it, you can do it. And we've
Yeah.
seen different people at different income levels to get in, and and have a great quality product. So, our goal has always been like aesthetically pleasing. Men and women both love the look of it. It's reliable from a cold standpoint. You can get it to the temperature that you want, and it's clean. And it stays at the temperature that you want. We've added new features now where all of our products are app enabled. So we have our own app. We've developed it in house. A lot of cool features that come from that. Whether it's through our sauna, our cold plunges, adjusting temperature, getting updates on your filtration system, being able to, we have this whole other side of like challenges and control, tracking all your times and your temperatures that you've been in, so you can kind of see your improvement over time. And that's something we're like always constantly working on. It's a big part of the future of the company. So yeah, we're, it's the product has been, we want it to be a different, we have this new inflatable product that's, hey, if you're in an apartment, this can actually work on your balcony. We have a product here that's there, all the way up to, like I said, the all-in, which is kind of like our premium Ferrari model that is just the fully integrated, very simple, plug and play, beautiful looking tub.
Well, yeah. I mean, clearly the listeners can guess like I'm very partial to that one. Clearly, only because I just know how easy it is. And so I don't want to be insensitive that like 5K is not a lot of money. Of course it is, depending on what your income level is. I just mean that I think sometimes we can be we don't think about like if you were to, like you said, $100 a month, zero interest. Like I love that you guys make it affordable for people. I just love that it is like it's constantly clean water, it's constantly regulated temperature. Like literally, you talk about lowering the barrier to entry. I literally walk out, lift up the spa top like I would like on a jacuzzi, get in, get out, test the water once a week or every few days. And like, that's it. It's so easy to me. So for me, it's like so worth the investment. So yeah, I love that. I love that you guys have now like different options. So For somebody though who is new to cold plunging, like I know we talked about some of the beginner tips are like, hey, like let's just start at like 3 minutes, like 55, 60 degrees. Any other like beginner tips for, to practice safely and effectively? And it's interesting. I was talking to a client of mine yesterday and um, something about like there was like I don't know how recent this was, but there was somebody had like drowned in a cold plunge. And I'm like, how does somebody drown in a cold plunge? And I'm like, is that like what were they doing? Maybe obviously don't get in if you've been drinking or like any of those things like that. But I don't know any other like safety things that somebody the outside of common sense stuff that maybe somebody's not thinking of or any kind of like best practices if you're just getting going like. It doesn't matter if you
Yeah,
go naked or should you wear clothes? Is it like anything?
I at my house, I love going like I go naked. It's like
Yeah,
my
same.
bird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the one thing we always say is like don't do intensive or extensive breath work in the plunge.
Ah.
Want to focus on your breath, but just simple. Like we're not doing breath holds in there.
Mm,
Like that's when things like you said, like the drownings that have happened over time. Of course, in
yeah.
any water, you don't want to be holding your breath in water.
Right.
And
Right.
so that would be the recommendation I have there from like a medical. I would say extensive heart issues. Say consult your doctor,
Sure.
and if you're getting in, just go at a overly high temperature. Or if you have any sort of autoimmune issues going on, I would say this could be very beneficial for those. We see that in that category, but like go at a higher temperature to start. Start at 60 plus. Like just see how your body reacts first. Like don't go for the home run to start. And just work your way down. So those are the ones that I always say, like if those are conditions that you're working through, um, go a little more simply to start. I think the other piece to it is contrast therapy. If you're doing a
Mm,
sauna and a cold plunge together, that's its own category outside
mm,
of just cold. Like I said, the blood pressure swing between hot and cold is very extensive. You're
mm,
getting into the cold, you are getting the blood rushing to the organs. When you get out and into the sauna, you get the expansion of your blood vessels. So you're getting blood pumping going the other way. So you can get, let's say you move really quick, like say you got cold and you go get in the sauna and you're sitting in the sauna and you have your head down, then you lift your head up, like you could get lightheaded. So I always say, like, just be mindful of that experience. If you're, especially when you're starting out for the first time on it, it is something that your body will feel, it can feel euphoric and you can get lightheaded. Um, Other little tips and tricks that we've seen is like if you're totally starting out and you're super nervous to do this, do it with a friend. That is such a way to, we are always so much stronger than we think. And there's something about being with someone that's maybe done it, especially if they've done it before,
mm-hmm.
and just being with that person telling you like, because you're immediately gonna want to get out. It's not
Mm-hmm.
no matter who you are, but just to having that person there, like you're good, breathe, giving some time, letting them fully focus on their experience, having to worry of like, what's my time at? What's like, that's a good tip I recommend for a lot of people. Do it in community.
Yeah, I love that. And I also love too, like I think I love to not even doing the clock, just actually counting my breaths. And then that's how I'm like, hey, I'll do like 30, maybe 45 breaths, maybe if I'm feeling frisky, and then like I'm out.
That's
We're
I
done.
mean, really to me, like the advanced, because you want to, it's really just listen to your body,
Yes.
not the same person every single day. And
Yes.
so when you can listen to your breath and actually, like I said, feel your system down regulate, like feel your breath getting longer, like those are the cues that you're actually listening to. 2 minutes today could be different than 2 minutes tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so I have some like maybe quicker kind of rapid fire questions as we start to
Bring it.
wrap up here. So, first of all, hot shower. Now, this is not for like the hot cold exposure. This is just like hot shower after a cold plunge. Like, does it reverse the benefits? Like, how long should you wait?
I don't think it. Look, could it be some of the benefits? I love a hot shower after a cold plunge. It's
Same,
what I do. Uh,
same. Feels good.
Yeah, I'm just not the dogmatic person.
Okay.
Find your experience like so. Yeah, if you can let the body warm up naturally, great. That's probably potentially, like we talked about the metabolism standpoint, you're going to get some benefits there. I also love just getting into a hot shower and getting going on my day. So,
Yep, love it. Okay. What about cold plunging in the winter? Is that still is the cold plunging a year round thing, or should you just do it in the warmer months?
year round, I actually I find it harder mentally to do it in the winter,
Yeah.
naturally, because it's colder out and I don't want to go get into cold water, but it's actually I find it easier on the body.
Hmm.
Um, my body's already running a little colder. Getting in, it's not as intense. For me mentally, I actually raise my plunge up probably 3 to 4 degrees in the
Mm,
winter, and that's just more for mentally to like get me into it because it's
fair.
harder. So again, it's more of I'm always how to actually just do the exercise. Again, going for a walk is better than not doing anything at all.
Yeah.
So that's how I handle the winter.
Perfect. What's been the most surprising benefit of cold plunging for you?
Ooh. Um, the physical benefits are all there. To me, it's just like it has been the most consistent tool I've had in my life. And so having the anchor of the consistency around it, I think whether it's cold plunging or something else, but having something specifically for like my mental health that I'm doing every
Mm,
single day, um, building this business has been one of the most fun and the most challenging things I've ever been through.
yeah,
And cold plunging, it's been the constant. I've done it every single day. So,
I love that. I love that. I was just recording a podcast talking about being an entrepreneur. Like it is the most rewarding thing I've ever done, but it is the hardest effing thing that I've ever done in my life. So yeah, I and at times like the loneliest thing I've ever done in my life. So I totally get that. Okay, so cold plunge before or after a workout?
um, again, I go to whatever's going to get you in. Um, I have my personal opinion is we overthink this one a little.
Okay.
It turned if you're really so again, if you're looking for there is some probably literature out there, a lot of people in my network that would tell like if you are maximizing gains, like you're in some big strength training like push or whatever, probably do it before. That's a good benefit to it. I would say for me, I kind of get in when I can get in. If it does work out that I get in before, I will. It's great energy before. It's almost like
Mm-hmm.
a workout, and you can get kind of the body worked up or amped up for the workout. If it's after, I would say don't overthink it. Why some people are a little anti post workout is it actually shunts some of the inflammatory response that we want from a workout. So, you tear your muscles down so they grow back stronger. Well, it's actually stopping a bit of that process. So, if you can, people would recommend 2 to 3 hours after your workout. Try and space it out if you're looking for a fully maximized. But again, I go to the spot of what's going to make you feel best and show back up to work out tomorrow. And I've found that it's not much of a difference for me doing it pre or post.
And I think you're right. I mean, this is God. You talk about just in the health and wellness, we can get so stuck on some of these, like, should you eat before you work out or should you eat after? Should you do? And it's like, bro, just get the workout in. Like, don't worry. You get so bogged down with some of these like rules and things. And for most people, what they're trying to do and the benefits in their life, like, it doesn't really matter. What matters is you do it, right? You get the plunge in, you get the workout in, right? Like, just we have to sometimes we get so caught up in the weeds, I think, with some of this stuff. So yeah, no, I love that. So what about why plunge? Why can't you just cold shower?
They're very different. They are, cold shower. Look, I would say when I'm on the road, I'll get in the cold shower. It gives me a quick, kind of adrenaline energy spike, but it's I don't know, it's the diet version the
Fair.
the cold plunge. Just different experiences.
Yeah.
Again, if the cold shower, I also think a cold shower sucks more than a cold plunge. To be honest, like when I'm in a cold shower, like I can't relax. I can't like surrender into it. It's just like like I just get this. I come out and I feel energized. Um, but they're just very different. They are different experiences.
Yeah, what are just some of the, maybe the mistakes that people make when they plunge that they're not getting the benefits? I have one particularly in mind that you guys actually mentioned in your like brochure there. I was just curious.
What was it? What?
It's not submerging up to your neck.
Yep, yep.
It's because of the vagus nerve, like, right? It's only doing now. I have Raynaud syndrome, so I can't put my hands in because like the nerves and the blood, like the blood, it's just my hands are wrecked if I do it. So I have to do my hands out, but I definitely make sure I get in. I don't go under, okay? Because look, we're not getting the hair wet every single time, okay? I know you guys say to dunk when we first go in. I'm not doing that, Ryan. I'm not doing
And
that.
that's the men and the women. Like my partner's the same way. She's like, no, I'm not getting my hair
Get
wet.
my
And you
freaking hair wet. Yeah.
um, if you're willing to get your hair wet, it's actually it's an easier experience. It's a little unknown secret that dunking your head first, you adapt much quicker.
Mm.
So if you are willing to dunk, it's gonna make it's gonna simplify or just make it you'll adapt much quicker. Yeah, but you want to get the full submersion. There's a like you said, vagus nerve in there. There's also the brown fat, like that's tended to be more in our upper chest, back of the neck region. Getting the water up into there kind of activates that, or it does activate that. So I'm the same way. I keep my fingers sit on the side. I can keep my feet in. That's not a problem for me. And then
Yeah.
I just go right up to the neck and just relax into it.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, last question for you as we wrap up. This is a little bit outside of plunging, but this is just a good question I love to ask my guests for my listeners. What is your number one piece of advice for someone who feels stuck in their life and really lacks motivation to move forward?
Hmm. Um, uh, I speak for like it obviously varies for so many different like
Sure.
contexts for what the situation is. To me, like sweating is my solve for
Yes.
it's simple as that. If I am in some place, some rut, something going on, I either fast track it, get in a sauna, or I work out. Like when was the last time I had a deep sweat? And I just asked myself that. And it is solved probably 99.3% of all of those moments. So that's my simple
No, well, I mean, I love that you say it, and it's very much in alignment with what I talk about all the time. Like, look, if you're feeling stuck in your life and you're not motivated, start taking care of yourself, right? Like, look at the basics. Like, are you sleeping well? Are you getting good nutrition? Are you moving your body, right? Are you sweating, right? Like, that to me, that is like somebody who is feeling stuck more than likely is neglecting one of those areas.
Yep.
And I talk a lot about in this podcast of helping midlife women get unstuck. And a lot of the times, why, I think at its core, why a lot of women, and this goes for I think men too, but feel really stuck is at the end of the day, they're not taking care of themselves. They're not prioritizing themselves. And I think that things really do you start to view things through a different lens when when you start taking care of yourself. So I love that advice. I think that that's awesome advice.
There's a cool study. They actually just came out with it pretty recently, but they're going deeper on their study. They're actually bringing cold into it. What they found was especially like people with clinically like clinical depression,
Mm-hmm.
their body temps are at a higher temperature and the
Mm.
body can't regulate down. And so what they found is actually if you can get your body temp up, and we're talking over 100 plus degrees, your body kicks on the mechanism where your body actually it turns that system on to bring it back down. And so they found a lot of people that were in depressive state, depressive symptoms. They did that, and the sauna was like an incredible tool. The results were better than the control group and better than SSRIs on the substance. So it's real. There's actually a mechanism within the body. The body can't cool itself down. It stays in this overheated zone. That's when depression they've seen starts to arise. So there is like actual um, there's a real mechanism behind the body to that, and whether that's a really hard workout or it's simply just getting in a sauna.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. Well, Ryan, thank you so much for just letting me nerd out with you on all things plunge. I get so hyped about this stuff, especially because I firsthand know just the power. And it has been, honest to God, such a game changer just in my whole wellness routine. And so I love that you are making this more accessible to the masses. And just thank you for sharing all of your knowledge with my listeners today. I appreciate you.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. And where can just the listeners just go to find if they want to get more information about the different products you have and plunge and all that good stuff?
Plunge.com or type in cold plunge on Google and we'll be right there.
Amazing. Thanks, Ryan.